Hi, and I'm kind of excited about this presentation. Of course, I've been excited about all of them that we've done so far, but we're going to go a little deeper into this whole emotional intelligence thing, and we're going to discuss today how our emotions affect our health, our intellectual health right now.
Yeah, we have been talking about the power of emotions, and emotions are powerful, and how affect and impact our health is so critical.
Yeah, we really don't know, but our emotions affect our mental health, and that affects our physical health in so many ways. So it also affects how we handle stress.
Yes, how we react to situations, because we have situations every time, every second. We receive it, our body, our mind, our brain process it, and how we react and handle the stress.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, Wanda, how stress is impacted with our emotions.
Well, stress is a message that we receive. We could receive it in different stimuli by the sight, touch, listening, something. We receive a stimuli that stress us, that fight or flight response. But basing our knowledge, basing our information in the here, in the brain.
In other words, the memories.
Yes, the emotional memories, the information, how conscious we are of how much time and energy we want to invest in handling that situation, we are going to have a response.
Yeah.
And that response, the healthier, the better. And the healthier is, the less amount of energy that we waste in the process.
But stress is a killer.
Yes, if you don't know how to handle it.
And we go back to an earlier discussion of those 7 factors that are the negative blockages that come from our emotions. And each one of those can bring an awful lot of stress.
Oh yeah, fear, guilt, shame, grief, lies, attachments, and illusions. All of them could trigger a stress in you if you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, if for example you're crossing a street and you happen to notice that a big truck is headed your way and it doesn't seem like they're going to be stopping, then there is an emotional stress response that's good.
That's good. It's the fight or flight. In that moment you have to fight.
But when does that particular stressful situation become destructive?
When you don't know what to do and you spend so much time back and forward and you deplete yourself and you don't actually have the options, or you don't know where to brainstorm and explore options to take action and healthy response.
And also if you become then afraid to cross the street.
Oh yes, or you just paralyze and stay there, obviously you're going.
Well, yeah, that's another way. That's a strategy that's rather short-lived, though, I think.
Yeah.
You're going to follow that one very long.
How we relate to others. Our mental health is critical. How we are going to interact with others, how we are going to connect, how we are going to communicate with others. That is so important.
Right. And the choices.
We were talking about the example, which are all the choices are there. Which one you're going to pick that is more healthier.
What we don't always realize is that life is a series of choices.
Every second.
And because of our emotions, there are certain situations where we have gotten used to making certain choices. Such as many people, when things get tough, give up. Well, I can't do this. One of those fear blockages that we talked about in a previous session. So it's always a choice.
It's always a choice. And also it's important to be honest with ourselves.
Right.
Maybe this is not the best moment, and that is okay too.
Yeah.
But how important and how committed I am with that particular goal is what is going to help me to make the decision to continue on, or maybe change, because change is good too. But you have to be conscious, you have to think about it, and you have to evaluate all the different aspects of that decision. That doesn't mean that you're going to be stubborn, that you're going to stay there because, I made the decision and I'm going to change. That is not healthy neither. Just you have to sit, be honest with yourself, take responsibility, and explore the options and the willingness to see sometimes you have to modify your plan.
There you go. It affects the way we think also.
all the process, how much energy and time you're going to be putting on that process.
And the mood we're in.
It's a choice.
And remember, we probably should remind our attendees of the definition of mental health at this point. It's a balance of
How you feel, what you know, and who you are.
Yeah.
That means that when you know who you are, your life purpose, your core values, your gift and talent, you are in harmony with who you are, then how you feel, your emotional triggers, your attachments, your emotional memories, and what do you know and what you don't know, give you that blending healthy mix between that harmony and Mobius in between the three things, and give you stability, clarity, and awareness.
there you go. And the way we behave, driven by our mental health.
Oh yeah, voluntary and involuntary. We are going to behave in a way, and more conscious we are, the better.
What's an example of an involuntary behavior?
Well, your heart is moving.
Okay.
You don't tell the heart now pump more or faster and slower later. It's just going to happen. And sometimes just some of the systems in your body are going to just respond involuntary. You have certain more aware, you kind of could slow down them, but that take consciousness and
Yeah.
awareness.
So if our mental health is a fertile garden for growing stress, then our heart's going to beat faster even if we're not doing anything.
Yes, it's a response.
Yeah, there you go. Got that, Lamar?
Yes, sir.
All right, Lamar's got it. Well, so how do we improve mental health with subconscious awareness?
It's important to how we perceive those stimuli, that awareness factor, how conscious you are of your surroundings.
So, in other words, we have to learn to pay attention at a deeper level.
Yeah, and be 100% present. And we have talked about how hard could be sometimes be 100% present and our mind be here and be able to feel, to connect, and to listen in a deeper sense.
Sure. Things are going on in our conscious mind, but they're being affected by what's going on in our subconscious mind, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, everything is kind of a battle over there in our mind.
And so you're saying that we've got to learn to tap into the subconscious mind more and see why. It's interesting, my wife and I had a discussion about dreams this morning, and I think dreams, aren't they sort of a suggestion of what's going on in your subconscious mind, or maybe even what you ate for dinner the night before? I don't know.
I really don't know.
But she dreamt that our 79-year-old wheelchair-bound sister-in-law was pregnant. Now, that would be quite a shock, and of course everyone was shocked that she was having her fifth child at nearly 80 years old. But is there a connection there coming from the subconscious mind somehow?
We don't know. There are different theories about dream. Maybe this is an area that we have to identify to learn more about it.
Okay, we'll
But
leave it alone for now.
oh yeah, this is a whole different topic. But it's a choice to live 100% present, especially when we listen to others, when we want to connect, when we want to invest in a relationship.
But I guess our subconscious mind is really a database of things we've stored that don't often come to the front, but they're there affecting us anyway.
And sometimes we don't even know that information is there.
Yep.
Because got there without knowing, because we listen it without being 100% present.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't even know that information is there.
And then it pops up when we least expect it.
Exactly.
Interesting. And so when that happens, when you have a thought that appears to come out of nowhere, you're saying, stop a moment, be conscious of that, and try to figure out why it suddenly popped up.
And how that is going to work out for you.
Right.
Is helping you, is a constructive one, or is not a constructive one? Because looking for the why is a waste of time sometimes. But how this is going to impact my future is a learning experience. It's going to be productive for me to think about it, or I'm going to be useful for me in what I want to achieve.
Then there's the conscious mind, and this is what we're aware of.
Yes.
And I guess it's focused on what's going on outside of us.
Yes, and how we respond. Yeah, and more awareness that we have, the better, because if we are aware of our energy, all our decisions are going to be taken in terms of don't sabotage your bank account of energy.
It's kind of interesting now because we need to enhance our conscious awareness too by being present, or as a friend of mine says, be where you are when you are when you are where you are. In other words, actually be there, be experiencing what's going on around you. And I think about, well, military, people with military or police training who just naturally are aware of their environment because it's their training.
Yes.
And I don't usually even know what's going on. I miss my turns once in a while if I'm lost in thought. So I've got to learn to be more conscious, more aware of what's going on. I'm usually living in my subconscious mind, I guess.
Yes, it's practice.
Nobody
practice.
does that. So the unconscious. This one's interesting. I think.
Yeah, is the auto mode that sometimes just you react and you don't even know. Sometimes you are driving and you don't know where you are. You just got there.
Yeah, and that does, unfortunately, I'll be traveling later today. If you happen to see me on the road, keep a wide berth because I'm probably in dreamland somewhere. Probably shouldn't have told you that, Lamar, until after I dropped you off. You agree? He agrees. Okay, that's good news. Well, we can have clarity-based awareness, and that's the ability to think clearly, clarity. So what do you want to say about that? If we want to restore mental clarity, what can we do?
Well, meditate or pray is one of those exercises that you could actually do to improve your clarity in your mind.
Why does that work?
Well, especially because the oxygen when you breathe, the respiration exercise, that you're going to be more aware of everything that is going on, and you give time to yourself to think. You kind of shut down all the noises around you when you meditate or pray, and that gives you time to connect with yourself.
So you're really filtering out the extraneous exteriors and focusing on how you're being impacted by your environment. So meditation and prayer, it does work in terms of clarifying
And
your
help
mind.
you to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes so much noise around doesn't allow you to feel and be honest with with yourself and take time for you.
Yeah, I can remember even as a child being told that if you really want to have a conversation with God, don't do all the talking.
Listen.
And since he usually doesn't talk to us out loud, only through our thoughts, it pays attention to listen to that inner voice and be connected to that higher power, however we define it. I think we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Well, organizing, prioritizing your thoughts.
And that is also important. To organize takes time too. You know, if you have a mess in your mind, you are going
My
to be
mind's a mess.
Well,
Yeah,
then
you know that. That's why you send me reminder emails.
sometimes,
Don't
we have
forget
to
the coffee. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, bright and
I forgot,
early.
bright and early,
You
yeah.
have to organize and
Yeah.
sometimes prioritize your thinking.
Right.
It's part of the clarity. More organized,
Yeah.
the better.
I have a mind that seems to chase every butterfly it sees. And so I guess that's butterfly brain. And I was trying to negotiate a contract just yesterday with my virtual assistant. And we'd start down a particular path, and all of a sudden my mind would jump to something else, and even I was aware that I was jumping all over the place. So sadly, I hate to write things down, but that's the only way I can organize my thoughts.
Sometimes keep an agenda is you have to find those tools that help you to keep you in track.
And here the difference between you and me is you could do this presentation without my friendly assistant here. Can we introduce our friendly assistant, Mr. TV Screen here? This is Mr. TV screen. I need that to stay on track. You don't need it.
It's part of the process.
Yep. Well, free up space by writing things down.
Sometimes we want to have everything in our mind, and that is overwhelming. You know, when you develop the strategy of writing down maybe once a day or the night before, I need to do that. And it's not that if you don't do it, you're going to make a big deal about it. It's like a guide to say, hey, this is what I'm planning, but I'm open to change and modifications. And that help you to organize and clarity.
Yeah. I'm having a little trouble prioritizing and freeing up brain space right now because Lamar pointed out that the sweater has a lump in it right here, and it makes me look fat. But really, I'm quite thin.
Yeah.
But Lamar is giving me a mental instability today.
Well, no. But which are your options to actually?
My options are to really admit that it may not all be as a result of the sweater, and that I better do something about it. Thank you, Lamar. Deep breathing.
Oxygen. We have talked about oxygen a lot, and we need oxygen to produce the energy, the ATP in our body, and our brain need a lot of oxygen.
So if I'm feeling tired, just for example, or my mind is starting to feel a little bit foggy, are you saying that if I do some deep breathing?
A slow, long inhale and exhale.
You do that through the nose, you inhale through the nose,
and then you
exhale through the mouth?
Yes, and deep, that you get more oxygen. And remember, not all the air is oxygen, probably only 21%. That means that you need a lot of air in your lungs to get the oxygen that each of the cells in your body are going to be producing energy.
Is there a rule of thumb for how many deep breaths I should take?
Well, also depends where, because there are some places that are more better to actually do that kind of exercises, but have to be part of your routine every day. The morning, the better. Based on the biological clock of Chinese medicine, 3 in the morning to 5 in the morning is where the
3 to 5 deep breaths in the morning? No.
3 to 5 a.m. in the morning.
Who's up at that time besides you?
There are people that do the exercises because it's when the long meridian is more active, and if you work your life aligned to the Chinese clock, you are going to be working or be living when your meridians and channels are more active, and the long meridians is more active between 3 and 5.
Can you tell us about that Chinese clock?
Well, that clock is based on the meridians of the body, and each of the organs of the body, well, most of the organs of our body is identified or associated with different times blocks during the day, that if you maximize your body or live according to it, you're going to be more effective. And 3 to 5 is the best time to wake up, do your meditation, your prayer, and take your deep inhale and exhale exercises.
Could I wake up on mountain time? That would be, I could wake up at 3 and it would be 6 o'clock.
Well, the problem is that the light also play a big role on your production of melatonin in your body. Everything is chemistry. And you have to run according to the light, because the dark or the light is going to play a role also stimulating the production of melatonin in your body.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts for you.
Time. Actually, that would be only 2 hours different anyway. It would be 5 o'clock in the morning, but I could get up at 5.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that's very interesting. Now, we did cover the segments of the body. What did you call them?
Meridians.
The meridians
channels.
of the body. We did do that, didn't
Yes,
we,
we
in
did.
an earlier segment? Okay.
At the beginning, actually, that is part of the foundation of our holistic emotional intelligence, because for us, energy flow is so important. It's the base for health, productivity, and interpersonal relationship, and everything that we do is to achieve higher levels of energy, and the emotions play a big role, because we don't want to block the energy,
Okay.
and emotions block energy.
Healthy blood sugar level.
That's important too. You know what you're going to be eating and what you're going to be putting in your body affect the chemistry and the clarity. They are food that affect directly the clarity and of your mind.
I mentioned earlier that I love mashed potatoes and ice cream, but I can't eat them at lunch or I'm going to be very tired. I can't eat processed carbs or I'm going to be very tired. So that's white bread, white pasta. Whole wheat bagels are all right though, Lamar. That's what I had this morning.
Well, that is so important too. And when you eat processed food without nutritional value, you're going to be using energy to process, to digest it, to clean up your body, and you are not getting any return of investment of it. That means that you are going to be wasting energy, the energy that belongs to your immune system, and in this case, your brain.
So it takes more energy to process carbs.
Yeah, especially if they are processed full of chemicals that you are not getting anything from it. You
There
don't
you
have
go.
nutritional value.
Okay. What about staying hydrated?
So important. Water is a source of oxygen too. It's H2O. Drinking the right water give us oxygen. That again, we need to produce energy and to keep our skin and our organs hydrated.
Now you like the Kangen water
Yes.
system. Why do you like Kangen? How do you spell that, by the way?
Kangen.
Okay. I would have spelled it Kangan, but I think you're right.
Okay, well,
I'll give
Kangen
it to
water. I like it because, and it's the one that I drink, because first it's alkaline, high in antioxidant, and also ionized. That means that I could get more oxygen to my cells to produce more energy.
Why don't you give them your phone number, because you can hook people up if they're interested in Kangen water.
Yeah, they could call me 321-209-4379.
Yeah, I'll put that up on the screen later.
Yeah, that is one of the sources for more oxygen and to
Actually,
keep
I'll
your
put it
bone-
up now.
Awesome.
I wait till later.
Look it up.
All right. Get the right amount and quality of sleep.
So important how you're going to rest and give your brain time to organize all that thinking process. Sometimes we are all over and we just need that time that your brain put in files. You know, the information easy to find when you need it.
I suffer from sleep apnea, and for a long time my wife dealt with my snoring, and I would stop breathing. I didn't have a major case of it. I was probably only waking myself up probably less than 10 times a night. The people who really have it are awake every 30 seconds or so.
Wow.
Not always aware of it, but I mean, it can be really bad, and it can kill you. It can kill you if you don't take the right steps. And so I'm very faithful with my CPAP. CPAP machine keeps my air passages open. So if you snore and if you're older, there's a chance you ought to go have yourself checked out and have a sleep study done.
Yeah, oxygen is important for that.
Regular exercise.
Yeah.
Zumba, baby!
If you don't use it, you lose it.
That's right.
And for the brain, also
I
exercise
use it,
is
but I can't lose it.
yeah. But to the brain, it's going to be Zumba is awesome because you know that coordination also helping your muscles, but
Yeah.
also is helping your muscles in the brain to think. You're going to the left, going to the right, up, down. That coordination is part of exercising your brain muscles.
And then staying in time to the music.
Oh yeah.
It's a great exercise. And the thing that surprises me is that I do Zumba without weights, and yet I'm increasing in upper body strength and arm strength. I can see the development through here, and it's really a great workout.
Yes.
My balance is better, and my aerobic potential is much higher than it used to be.
Yeah, it's part of a pick which exercise the best for you.
How do we exercise our brain?
Again, a lot of you, one of those activities, books activities that you put the words and you have to think,
Yep.
and that is so important for the brain. You know, I remember those days that we actually have to memorize the phone numbers. Now we just look into the phone, or we have to know to where to go. Now we have the GPS. You know, we stop using our brain, and that affect. If you don't use it, you lose
Just
it.
have to use it in a different way, I guess. But I remember it amazed my wife when we were first married. We could go grocery shopping in way back in the early 70s. I suppose an expensive grocery bill was $25 or $30, but I could go through the whole store adding the tab up in my mind and be within $1 or $2 when we got to the checkout counter. Then along came the adding machine. After that, the computer with Excel spreadsheets and built-in calculators, and I don't have that problem or that skill anymore. Stable awareness.
Yeah, and this is so important, how we respond to situation and stay stable, calm, that our heart doesn't get that pressure or that push of hyper, because our response is so important, or maybe anger, or maybe how we respond.
How much stress, how many damaged relationships could we avoid if, when we're starting to feel that explosion of stress make its way to the front of our brain and on into our mouth, how many could we avoid if we would just slow down, take those deep breaths, and restore calm before responding?
And it's not that you're going to be taking and taking, it's that you're going to know exactly how and when and where to communicate, being aware of your emotions and the emotions of others, and be more assertive and empathetic.
Sure. If the truck is coming, don't take time for slow breathing exercises. Get out of the way. But unless it's a truck headed right at you or something of that nature,
Yeah.
be calm.
And that
This is Dale Lind, and I want to thank you for joining Wanda and me for this very interesting discussion on how to improve your mental health. I hope it benefited you as it has benefited us. Now, as we continue our series on holistic emotional intelligence, brought to you by the DRW Life Skills Institute, Dr. Wanda Bonnet Gascott, founder and presenter, along with Empowered Partnerships, Dale Lind, presenter, as we focus on improving physical health, starting with the digestive system. You won't want to miss this segment.